Well, Eddie, April the 1st, confirmed Anthony Joshua returns against Jermaine Franklin at the O2. It's been a while since AJ's been back there.
Yeah, back to the Lions then. I can't wait. Honestly, the most exciting stage of his career for me. I know people might think that's hype, but it is, because in many corners, he's being written off. It's unbelievable. You know, the resume and the run of fights that he's had. You know, on one hand, he's finished. You know, on one hand, the AJ train is over. And then on the other hand, Jermaine Franklin is supposedly an easy fight. You know, on one hand, people want to say that Jermaine Franklin beat Dillian Whyte, yet AJ will knock him out early. I mean, this is a really difficult fight to come back to. Jermaine Franklin is full of confidence coming off the Dillian Whyte performance. You know, he does have a style that notoriously a big sort of stand-up heavyweight finds difficult, with that shorter frame, you know, quick hands and good movement. This is a really good fight for AJ to come back to. And at the Lions Den, the O2 Arena, which saw, of course, the professional debut, which saw, of course, the epic Dillian Whyte fight, the World Championship victory against Charles Martin, and the fight against Dominic Breazeale. And the first time he's been back there for many years. Of course, it's going to sell out instantly. And for me, this is a really exciting run in AJ's career. New training team out in Texas. You know, he's in a great place. He's ready to launch his attack on the heavyweight division all over again. But a very tough night's work on April the 1st.
Let's just talk about the opponent selection and Jermaine Franklin. A few other names are in the mix, one of them being Dempsey McKean. What was the reason why Franklin was the man?
Yeah, we had a lot of fighters in the mix. I mean, Dempsey, Otto Warlin. Really, it came down to the style. You know, I think AJ's coming off the back of 2 fights against a southpaw, the best southpaw in boxing, in Alexander Usyk, and wanted an orthodox fighter. And the training team really sort of looked at it and said, look, if we're going to go and fight Wilder, Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury, there's no point us going back really and fighting southpaw. So we want to work on, and we want you to showcase everything you're working on with us, and we feel like you should be doing that against an orthodox fighter. Obviously, the fight that Jermaine had with Dillian Whyte was a great marker for us to see where we're at. We know he's a world-class heavyweight. There can be no disputing that. And he got the nod. Very, relevant. He's been active off the back of the Dillian Whyte fight. The UK fans know who he is, and he's a talented fighter.
You mentioned about the training team there. We obviously know Anthony's now moving over to America for camp, and he will make the announcement on the training side of things in due course. Just talk to us about maybe why that is the perfect thing for him to do at this stage of his career. Maybe move away from any distractions and the like.
Yeah, I think that one of AJ's problems has always been he's got time for everybody, and he can't walk down a street without someone wanting to talk to him, a selfie, sign this, sign that, and he gives everybody his time. And I feel that he's lived with that pressure of kind of being that guy for a long time. And I think moving out to America, obviously people know who he is, but he can go to the mall, we can go to the cinema, he can go and have a kickabout over the park with the team. And I think that'll be refreshing for him. I think that'll give him a new lease of life. He has a great training team in Texas. And I just think take yourself away from, it's never really distractions with AJ because he's not that kind of individual, but it's just, it can be draining. I think the responsibilities that sometimes he has in the UK. So this is, like I said, one of the reasons that I'm so excited about this chapter for AJ is just that new fresh look. And I think he's going to come back with plenty of energy, very excited and super sharp.
Let's talk about the sort of lay of the land of the heavyweight landscape at the minute. Obviously there seems to be talks for the undisputed fight that sort of go on between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. We know Filip Hrgović is next in line for the IBF. How far away do you think Anthony is from getting back in that mix?
The priority is to see AJ become world heavyweight champion again. But at the same time, the priority is to beat Jermaine Franklin at the O2 and look good. I think AJ's always going to have the ability, because of his star power, to get a fight for the world heavyweight title. So it's not necessarily so much with him working his way into a mandatory position. We know he's the biggest draw in the heavyweight division alongside Tyson Fury. You've got Deontay Wilder, you've got Alexander Usyk, of course. And I just feel that the world heavyweight title shot will come. But the key now is to get himself 100% ready for whoever that may be. When you look at the individual divisions, you've got a number of mandatories in place. Of course, one of them is Filip Hrgović. And I think if Tyson Fury does fight Alexander Usyk, I think you'll see the belts disperse. And that's when the opportunity will arise to either fight for those belts or get a big fight with one of the champions, and that's the focus for AJ.
I guess fighting early in the year, April the 1st, allows Anthony to maybe fight twice more this year. Is that?
That's the key. That's the plan, and the key really is to try and get in a position to fight 3 times this year. He hasn't done it for a long time, and through COVID, sometimes he was fighting once a year. I want to see him active. I want to see him with momentum, with confidence, and it all starts April the 1st.
And back where it all started, you mentioned the O2 had some great nights of Anthony. How do you think he'll enjoy sort of embracing that and coming back to?
I think he'll thrive at the O2. I really do. I think, again, when you talk about the pressure and the responsibility, he went from boxing on undercards to headlining the O2 to Wembley to Millennium Stadium to Madison Square Garden to Riyadh to Diriyah. Like, it was just an unbelievable roller coaster of mega stadiums, and I think O2 feels like home. He remembers that place. He knows that walk. He knows the change room, and I think he'll buzz off it. I think you're gonna see an AJ that's going to enjoy this part of his career. I really do, and the atmosphere will be incredible. And yeah, I can't wait to see him back at the Lions Den.
And in that run at the O2, very destructive. Do you think we'll see Anthony Joshua stop Jermaine Franklin on April 1st?
Look, Franklin's very slick. He's got great movement. He's obviously got a good chin. He stood up 12 rounds to Dillian Whyte and some heavy shots there as well. But I think you're going to see a razor sharp Anthony Joshua. I really do. And I've been quite vocal lately. I'm up for it. I'm up for speaking out about this young man and how I feel he still has the goods to be world heavyweight champion. It's amazing, I feel, not really the disrespect, because people think that's a moan, but when you look at what he's achieved and what he's done for British boxing, this guy is still a top 3 heavyweight in the world. And he has serious ambitions. He has serious potential. He has serious ability. And I believe he can get better. And I'm excited because I want people to write him off, because I can't wait to see him come back April the 1st and start this new run to the world heavyweight title.